Diablo 4 arrives on June 6th. As the forces of hell gather, only you can stand in their way. Journey across the expansive open world of Sanctuary. Choose from 5 powerful classes to fit your playstyle. Adventure with your friends in 4-player co-op with crossplay and cross-progression on all platforms. On June 6th, hell welcomes all. Pre-purchase now at Diablo4.blizzard.com. Rated M for mature. Tap the banner or visit this episode's page to learn more.
The Council of Franks, on behalf of delicious Oscar Mayer 100% beef franks, has declared its official position. Oscar Mayer 100% beef franks are 100% beef frank delicious. This summer, choose delicious. Choose 100% beef. Keep it Oscar.
So, you open Google Chrome on your phone, you're rushing to buy tickets to a concert that all your friends are going to. Picture yourself now. Crowd surfing to the front, being invited onto the stage, backstage the world tour, and before you know it, you're dancing in Tokyo. Wait, what? 3 tickets left? It's a good thing your saved payment details autofill quickly and securely. There's no place like Chrome. Download Google Chrome on your phone.
Entering the world of Crisis on Infinite Films, brought to you by All2ReelToo podcast.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Sesame the Wizard and Cardup.
You sure are a wizard, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
You're a wizard.
I know.
So, in a recent episode, I talked about how I went by this church, and there was a bumper sticker or whatever on the window of this car that said, "I eat ass," right in front of a church with a bunch of kids coming out of it. Yeah, went by there again the other day, and there's a bumper sticker right on there in this same place, different car. It says, "Boobies make me happy."
Okay.
And then I was talking to my sister about it, and she said she went to a graduation party at that church the other day. And she saw a bunch of, like, very inappropriate bumper stickers on cars there.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a United Methodist Church. I don't want to call out the name of the actual church or where it's located, but yeah.
So it's like, this is like a prankster is doing this or something, or like...
No. These are what the people have on their cars.
What I mean is, like, are these people who don't even go to the church, like, parking it there on purpose in order to, like, make people uncomfortable by having, like, inappropriate bumper stickers, you know what I mean, or something like that?
I'm not really
they're in the same spot. It just seems kind of
well. No, this one was in the general same area as the other one, but
okay.
she saw them and she saw these like in the parking lot of the church.
Oh, right, okay,
yeah. And that might have just been people going to this graduation party or other people or what, but I don't know. It's just
maybe a lot of immature people.
Yeah, it's just worrisome. Kind of just worrisome to me. I mean, it's okay. Go ahead, free speech and all that, but it's just when there's kids around, I'm like, whatever.
Like, honestly, though, you have to be a deeply immature person to, like, even think that's cool.
Yeah, I know.
To have. Like, ooh, like a bumper sticker says "boobies make me happy." Like, oh, I'm so cool. Like, no, like, everyone thinks you're a loser. Like, everyone.
What are you, 12?
Even your own friends think you're a loser if you do that. Like,
that'd be something that you should have maybe hanging up in your room when you're 12.
Exactly.
It's like, or in your locker.
Yeah. And even then, I wouldn't even have that, because even then I'd be like embarrassed to even have that. Like, it's just immature and stupid, but whatever. So like, I hope that there aren't members of the church, like all of them have these stupid bumper stickers. Like this is your congregation. Like you need to like.
I'm imagining the pastor got together one service and be like, okay, we're going to take up a collection now. And after that, we're going to all go put inappropriate stickers on our cars.
Yeah.
Frank over here, you get the, boobies make me happy. George over here, you get the I eat an ass. And, we're
I mean, I don't really believe in like being mean or whatever, but like that pastor needs to like get his congregation to smarten up a little bit. Like seriously, like you're getting a little too loosey goosey here. Like we're gonna reinstate like strict shit now because of that. Like you gotta sit up straight. You gotta wear suits and dresses now. Like you did this to yourselves. Like I didn't want to do this. You made me do this. So like because you can't be trusted with your own rights, I guess, if you can call them that. Like, so congratulations, you did this to yourself. Now you have to be ultra conservative because you thought that you needed to have I eat ass on your windshield or whatever, back window, whatever. Whatever. It's stupid.
Yeah, but this is America, my friend. Anyway, so
yes, it is.
So on a brighter note, we watched a movie that we're going to talk about. Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Movie that just came to Max, formerly HBO Max, the stupidest named streaming service out there.
Max. Okay.
Yeah.
And they even changed the color to like the stupid blue when it used to be a cool like purplish color. Like they couldn't have just kept the color. Like why? And then
and it seems like things don't stream as well either.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And I've actually read some things. People have been complaining about this, that it does seem slower. It probably is then. And then
like I was watching the old TV show Mentalist on there. And it'll randomly go to like a black frame once in a while. It never did that before. So
no, it didn't. They're probably saying, "Oh, we're just working out the kinks." Like, no, you're not.
Well, the other thing they did too is that they decided to, on the information for like a movie, and they got in trouble for this, but they said, "Oh, it was just a glitch in our transfer over from HBO to where they decided to lump writers, producers, and directors and some other jobs all under the title of creators."
Okay.
Like they have a section that'll say like starring Zachary Levi and Asher Angel and whatnot for like for this movie, for example, and then underneath it it'll have the producer, the director, and the writer and everybody all listed in one category called creators. When that actually violates union rules.
Wow.
Because because if you just look on it, it's like, you don't know who wrote it, you don't know who directed it, you don't know who produced it, you don't know who did whatever. They're all there. Yeah. It kind of just cheapens the idea, and it's almost like, I think they're doing this on purpose because, we've talked about the whole writer's strike and stuff, and then there's definitely a Screen Actors Guild strike coming up, and possibly a Directors Guild.
Oh wow!
Coming up too, so it's gonna hit them. But if you don't differentiate the jobs that people are doing and give them credit for what they did, it's gonna look it's really bad on you. I mean, it's not a good look at all. Yeah. But anyways, I digress. A lot. Anyways, so yes, this movie, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, written by Henry Gayden, Chris Morgan, and Bill Parker. Directed by David F. Sandberg. Starring Zachary Levi, Asher Angel, Jack Dylan Grazer, Rachel Zegler, Ross Butler, Adam Brody, DJ Contrada, Grace Caroline Curry, Meagan Good, Lucy Liu, Jaimin Hunsu, Helen Mirren, Faithe Herman, Ian Chen, Jovan Armand, Marta Millins, Cooper Andrews. These people are all important, so that's why I was naming all of them. They're the important people in the cast, and there's a bunch of other people.
Yeah, they're not...
including Rizwan Manji played the docent at the museum in Greece at the beginning of the movie. But he also plays a janitor in Peacemaker. And this movie has characters from Peacemaker in it at the end. So it's like, is this his twin brother or what? What's going on?
Yeah.
Or did he quit his job as a janitor and become a docent in Greece?
It had moved to Greece, yeah. I don't know. It was probably just the...
Yeah, they just cast the same guy because they liked him. But anyways, so what were your initial thoughts of this movie?
I don't really know. I kind of liked it, but at the same time, I was kind of bored with it because there was a lot of action, but sometimes it just felt like there wasn't much of a story going on with it, and I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on how I felt about it, but at the same time, I'm kind of got superhero fatigue for a while anyway, so I'm just kind of really not into those kind of movies now because I think I watched way too many of them. And too many shows. I'm just kind of like
too many of them.
That's why I kind of move on to a different kind of story, but so that could have been it too, of just kind of.
Yeah, I mean it is pretty formulaic. I will give it that. I liked it, but I liked it a lot better than a lot of the critics liked it. And
see, it wasn't as bad. It's like people are like acting like it was like this terrible movie. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I don't really see where the hate's coming from.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the superhero fatigue and also the kind of like reassembling of the DC movie universe, like that's happening with James Gunn and Peter Safran and stuff taking over as the heads of it. It's like it's like they haven't said yet if this is going to be canon to it. Basically, The Flash is supposed to be like the first movie that's like going to start off the whole new universe.
Right, because he like resets the timeline or whatever, or something like that. Yeah, so
a movie that something that I would never say it for any other movie. Pirate it, people. If you want to see it, pirate it.
Don't Flash.
Yeah, don't pay for it. Reason I'm saying this, and I know it's illegal, but the thing is Ezra Miller does not need any more money in their pocket.
No, that's the other thing too. Is that like I forgot if it was Zaslav or I'm not sure what his name is. Someone at Warner Brothers like, yeah, there was no way that we were never going to release this movie. It's like, yeah, so you're just admitting like you don't care at all. Like, at least you're honest. At least that, So
when I was reading the headline the other day, I didn't read the article, so it could go in more depth or whatever. But Andy Muschietti, the director of it, was saying that if there ever is sequels, and that there's nobody else that could play the Flash. And I'm like, hey, what about Grant Gustin? He played it for 9 fucking years.
He played it for 9 years, and then you can't then say that they're not connected because when they have the Crisis on Infinite Earths episode, Ezra Miller's version of the Flash showed up, and admittedly, they died because of whatever, but
but they were probably brought back because the way it
so there is then definitely a connection then between the show and the movie as far as like the multiverse is concerned. But
and there's talk even though he's said he's not in the movie that Grant might be making a like credits cameo. So but that's just a guess on some people's part. I won't believe it till I maybe see it. But
right.
But anyways, so I think a lot of it having to do with the fact that people don't know if Shazam is going to be part of the future of the DC, universe or not, the DCU or whatever. So it's hard to say if this is considered canon in the future, or if it's just a, you know, movie from a dying universe, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Not saying,
You know,
I kind of miss, I love the Marvel aspect of things, but I almost kind of miss the old days when people would just release movies and they weren't all fucking connected.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say it too, because there's like a video of a channel called Council of Geeks that I watched.
Yeah.
And the person, I forgot her name, but she was saying that it was basically a whole video about like is continuity, I don't know how to say it, continuity,
yeah.
Is it like basically, is it like automatically like a good thing, like as a rule, like it just has to, and it's like, yeah, like at a certain point it's like, oh, this Marvel movie is connected to this one, so you gotta watch like 70 Marvel movies up to this point to like understand like all the nuances and context, bro. And it's like, it's cool for like nerds like me and stuff, but at a certain point it's like, okay, like it's getting a little too advanced, like, you know, I don't know.
When they start to rely too heavily on the fact that you had to have watched, you know, 30 some movies and 12 TV series to understand, you know, why this guy said this one thing in the movie.
Exactly.
It's like
oh, you gotta see the you'll totally makes sense, bro. And like the guy would just say like zippity doo, and it's like, oh, you see, you wasted like 400 hours of your life, but you got it, and it's like, okay,
you know, 14 years ago, you know, the other guy said zippity doo, and that means, you know.
Exactly. And that was before we knew about the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
So that was like totally coincidental.
Yeah. And the other guy said zippity D, so that means something,
D.
you know, and then, you know.
No, dude. That's literally how I felt after watching the Eternals when they had the thing at the end, when it was like, oh, this is Thanos' brother, and then you got like this weird guy being voiced by Patton Oswalt, and we're like, I'm like, okay, like this is supposed to be cool, like, I guess, like, I don't know.
Well, the part that Harry Styles played is his brother in the comics, so it was kind of cool that they brought him in. But it was like, that's more you had to have read the comics. It's not like you had to have seen the movies to understand that. And that was kind of like, if you hadn't, I think a lot of people that had seen all the movies had no clue who the hell that was too. So, it's like,
right. So,
but yeah,
I mean, like, just like to bring shit back. Like, I'm okay with Shazam being a one-off, really, even if it's not part of the, you know.
But my thing is with it is I think people are preconditioned because of the MCU that everything needs to be connected. And now that they decided to kind of like scrap the whole Snyderverse things of things, and it's like, you've got characters like Wonder Woman and other people in this series, and like, you know, Superman, and they reference Batman and the Flash and everything in these movies, and in both the Shazam movies, that it's like people are thinking they're connected to the, you know, the Snyderverse, and it's like, now that's dead. It's like, is it gonna be part of that? But then again, you know, the Flash was part of the Snyderverse, and he's gonna reset things, I guess. But it's like, I guess you can keep some of the people, and I really kind of hope they do keep Shazam because I like the character, but, you know, but then again, you know, Asher Angel is like, I think like, I don't know how old he is. He's like, who plays Billy as a kid. Yeah, he's like 21 years old now or something, or 20.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, pretty soon he's going to look just as much of an adult as Zach Levi, and it's like,
exactly.
You know, it's just, I mean,
it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how they're gonna work. Well, I don't know if they are gonna make a third one or not.
Yeah,
because I think they're not going to. But like, well, I think they kind of sort of like fix, quote unquote, fix that problem at the end of the movie, or did I misunderstand something?
I don't know.
We'll get to the end.
Yeah,
when
we get to it. Yeah, but I mean, they did do you know, Mary, what's her name? The actress that plays Mary. Curie is her last name. Grace Caroline Curie. She played both the younger and superhero version of her character, whereas in the first movie she didn't.
Oh, really? She didn't? I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, she didn't in the first
okay.
movie, but she's the only one that plays both parts in this movie. So
Like, she just looks like herself. Like, she doesn't age up like all the other
Yeah.
characters do.
yeah, because I mean,
She's
she's
just
the
like-
she's the oldest of the kids too, because she's like a year,
Right, yeah.
a year or so older than Billy. So, anyways, yeah, that's our first reaction. That took a while, but so what happens here in this movie?
So the basic premise is Helen Mirren and was it Lucy Liu? Or is it
Lucy Liu.
um
They play
and I forgot
Hespera and Calypso, and then Rachel Zegler plays
Anthea.
and
Is it Anthea or Anthea?
Anthea / Anne. Yeah.
And so they're at the museum in Greece where Rizwan plays the character, even though he plays a janitor and Peacemaker.
Well, only two of them are there because we haven't met Anne yet. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I saw, Calypso and Hespera.
Yeah.
They are trying to get the staff that Shazam broke at the end of the first movie after they beat what's his name, Savannah.
Yeah.
The guy from the first one who wanted to be a wizard, but the wizard rejected him because he was tempted to use the power for his own gain. And so he pretty much spent his whole life. I almost kind of like the plot of the first movie a little bit. Anyway, I don't want to get into
I will tell you, I do like the first movie a lot better. It was it was more fun too. Yeah.
Yeah. So Calypso and Hespera they want to bring back, like, put it, because it was snapped in half by Shazam at the end of the first one, and then they want to like touch it so they can like kind of get the power from it, and then put it back to reassemble it. And the reason why is because they were the daughters of Atlas, the god, Greek god, probably also a Roman god with a different name, because they kind of just had the same gods, just changed their names. And and I guess the story is that apparently the wizard, like, at least in their mind, the wizard was like a villain because he stole the magic of the gods and only used it for himself. And so they want like revenge, basically, or just to kind of, Hespera just wants to reinstall her realm, but Calypso's more vengeful and she wants to basically destroy the world because of what happened to them or whatever. And Anthea she's like, her power is sort of like moving objects and shit, and like confusing people through like kind of like with Doctor Strange.
That's what I was gonna say. She's doing kind of a Doctor Strange sort of thing. Yeah,
with her hand, and she's actually also using her hands to do the motion or spell as well, which is interesting. But I mean, that's not really a new concept either. It's not like Doctor Strange.
No, and almost all magic people, unless you're like Samantha on Bewitched, where she twitches her nose. Everybody else does.
Exactly. Yeah, that would have been an interesting addition. So they steal the staff. They turn everyone into basically stone in the museums, kill everyone. This movie was a lot darker than the first one too. Like
a lot of people died in this movie.
I know, like people literally got killed in this one, and I guess it's like showing them like they're growing up or whatever. But and then like, so that's kind of like the theme like we're getting to, and then we get into this kind of funny cutscene where Billy is like, as Shazam, is like, it looks like he's talking to a therapist, but it turns out it's a pediatrician.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, I was actually recommended to you by Billy Batson or whatever.
Interesting thing is when they reveal that it is a pediatrician's office, they cut to these like toys and stuff on a little kid's table and stuff. One of them is the Annabelle doll from the Annabelle movies, and David S. Sandberg directed one of those. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So that's a little,
that's funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and so kind of like what we got going on is like, the kids are kind of like they kind of gotten used to like being superheroes. They pretty much like decked out like the lair that the wizard had, like with their own unique thing or whatever. It
kind of reminded me of like the lair that the Ninja Turtles hang out in when they're in the sewer. So
Yeah, ditto. Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. Because like the colored lights and
yeah,
food, snacks, and shit like that.
Mhm.
And Billy / Shazam is kind of he's nervous about like everyone like pulling apart, so he's like trying to like force them to have like meetings every single day and like that kind of thing. And they they do good work, but they kind of botch up a lot of their superheroing because they don't really know what they're doing. So like they'll save people, but then like they allow the bridge to collapse and shit like that. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's it's a good commentary. It's kind of like how they kind of made that point in the Marvel universe and in the DC universe previously, like where it's like these superheroes are saving things, but then they're damaging a lot. That's why there's like the damage control and stuff in MCU, and and like people were like, well, Superman's like flying right through freaking buildings and destroying them and stuff.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Well, that was like that was like kind of like the main reason for Batman versus Superman.
yeah,
Batman hated Superman for basically killing like his colleagues by accident, because of the boulder, the rubble and shit falling off
Yeah.
buildings. Whatever. Yeah, no one really thinking about that shit. Like, there's people underneath like these huge falling boulders and shit.
Yeah.
and they're like falling on cars and people, and so yeah, I mean they're kind of just like in this the lair, and they're it's chilling out. Freddy kind of wants to go off and do his own thing for a while, but Billy's always trying to force them to like all or none. That's like their whole thing, his whole motto or whatever, and I don't know. It just there's like a lot of funny banter. Sometimes I think it goes a little bit overboard. Sometimes with the banter, like if someone seems like it's trying too hard, I'm like, like there's a part in the movie where I know I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but
that's fine. We don't have to go through
you've
the whole
already seen the
plot
movie
either.
if you're listening, or if you're not, then whatever. Where they're like gonna tell their foster parents that they're superheroes, and like the one kid goes like, "I'm gay," and then like he's like, "Yeah, we do, buddy," or whatever. And it's just like, and again, like I don't want to go on a tangent about that, but like sometimes I get a reaction when it comes. It's not because I'm some right winger that I don't like represent. It's like
it's cringy.
It's like you just have a random person go like, "I'm bisexual," and it's like, okay, like what does that got to do with the movie? Like,
yeah, it has nothing to do with the plot. And I mean, I know representation matters and everything, and I'm all for that, but write a story behind it. Don't just make it that he's gay for the sake of being gay. That
like that was literally it. Like I mean, we get hints throughout the movie because he's like looking at like a Sports Illustrated with like a baseball player.
I mean,
and he's like watching the baseball game on TV. But like, okay, like
it's more pandering than anything, honestly. It's like, it's like right now. I mean, and right now it is Pride Month as we record this. It's kind of like how every corporation right now is putting rainbows in their logos. But are you doing anything besides that to actually help an under represented community? Changing your Ford logo to a rainbow is not gonna do anything to help the community. So.
And the thing is too is like even with that now, a lot of these like the whole Bud Light fiasco. I know it's kind of a tangent, but like the whole Bud Light fiasco with Dylan Mulvaney, which I never even heard of this person until this whole thing started. Because I don't watch TikTok or anything. And the thing is, though, is that the Anheuser-Busch, they actually donate like a lot to like conservative stuff.
Yeah,
in the country. So it's like
they donate to both. They donate to both because they know that they have to appeal to both sides. Unfortunately,
they gotta hedge their bets. Yeah, exactly. But just the idea that like, oh, they got woke. It's like, dude, they still like donate like a lot to Republicans, a lot because they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, like why you're so mad, but whatever. But yeah, I know like it's like that kind of just. It would just like when I heard it, I just cringed. I was like, ugh. Like it's got nothing to do with like not like gay people or anything like that. It was just like okay, like they're like, yeah, we know Bud, and it's like even like it's almost seemed like the actors themselves were like cringing at the same time. Like like, oh my God, I got to recite this line. Like, you know, but they're paying me, so I got to say the line, you know, and it's just like,
it's
but,
just bothersome. Yeah.
it's just one of those, there's a few moments like that in the movie, like where I kind of, like there's another part too where he said something about, I'm like, okay.
Feel free to jump around because I don't think we have to like break down the whole plot on this one.
So there's there's another scene, where they capture, what's her name, Hespera and Calypso in like the lair behind like a magical jail cell, I guess that makes it so they can't do magic or whatever. And they put like a dome around the city at first, and so they're like basically saying like, all right, you gotta let go of Freddy because at one point they kidnapped Freddy, who's a minor, the child. So you know, we've already got some felonies going on again, like in most of these movies. And
also he's starting a relationship with a 6,000-year-old woman.
Yeah, well, that was a little bit different because you know she's 6,000 years old in her realm.
Yeah,
and so we haven't really dealt with like interdimensional relationships yet. The laws are going to need to catch up, I think, with that kind of thing. Because she looks.
I think we should protest outside of like some courthouses about this. You know,
we should like have a law like interdimensional relationships need to be regulated. A 16-year-old boy cannot date a 6,000-year-old woman who also looks like a teenager, but is technically 6,000 years old, but only 6,000 years old in her dimension. Whereas in this dimension, she might age accordingly. So we're gonna have to figure out. We gotta square this out, you know.
Yeah.
But no.
Another shock. I mean, I just want to talk about some shocking things in this movie. Is like, okay, Dietrich Bader plays this teacher in the movie. You know, people know him from like the Drew Carey show, and he also was the voice of Batman and Brave and the Bold, and you know, different things. When he was in Napoleon Dynamite. You know, he's been around forever. He they like enchant him or whatever and make him do what they want, and there's a scene where he just commits suicide.
Calypso tells him to walk off the building because they're on top of a school building.
And I was like, did that just happen?
No, that's what I'm saying. This movie was like way darker than the first one. Like, because like, you know, Freddy's like, you know, he's got that disability where he can't, he needs like a crutch. Not a cane, like a, well, I guess it's kind of like a cane.
It's kind of like a crutch cane sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he needs that to help him walk because he's disabled. So he's like sitting there trying to like catch up with his teacher before he falls down and he can't make it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then like Calypso even said something like, oh, I forgot like how they sound when they flop and like crushes like a grape or something like that.
I mean, talk about therapy. I mean, Freddy's going to need some freaking therapy. This was like the one teacher that he liked from the scene that we had earlier in the movie. And it's just like, what the?
Yeah, he was in like one scene prior to this, and that was it when he got beat up by those two jerks from the first movie. Because like apparently, like having lunch with superheroes wasn't enough for him to like get enough social credit at school, which is really sad if you think about it. And like, they're like, yeah, we don't give a shit if Superman was with you.
I mean, think about it. If you know, like, if like right today or something, like, you know, a kid and like Doja Cat or somebody came to the, you know, or like Taylor Swift or whoever's popular comes to the, you know, the cafeteria, that kid's going to be set for life, you know?
Oh, I know,
it's
totally.
just like what the heck?
But not Freddy, apparently. No. Freddy, because Freddy, that's the other thing too. Like, the people in this school are like horrible.
Yeah.
Like they're literally punching a disabled kid and like bending his cane. And then, like, the teacher, the one who later on kills himself, didn't even, like, punish the kids. He just, like, helped up Freddy. He's like, oh, that trash can used to be, like, a second home to me when I was in school. And it's like, so you don't discipline your students here? Like, you could just beat people up in the hallway and then that's fine?
And my thought is they've had the same trash can for, like, you know, 60 years or something. So, I mean, it's just
yeah. Exactly. That was his second home and he lived there. Yeah. And, so Freddy, he likes Anthea. She calls herself Anne.
Yeah,
you know, very creative, clever with that one. And see, and of course, you know, she's one of the goddesses, and she's like trying to, I guess, infiltrate, or I don't know exactly what her thing was. And then, but for some reason, at one point, she's like, "Can you show me where it was? Like, sit at the table." So I don't know if that was part of the infiltration, or if she just wanted to sit at the same table that he was sitting at when Shazam and Superman were there with them. I don't really know what that was about, but I don't know if that was like her trying to like siphon off the magic or something like that, or it wasn't really explained. Like, okay,
I mean,
then,
at that point, I don't know if she knew anything that Freddy was like empowered at that point. So it was
so she was just pursuing an underage boy without knowing. Okay, gotcha.
Or she just literally thought he was funny. I don't know, So yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
she was just the predator.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that was like a secondary agenda, not related to the. I don't know. And it's not just me saying it's because like they make this comment in the movie too, like, how come so many of our sons are into older women or something like that? Or like, okay, because like Shazam's obsessed with Wonder Woman, like that's another thing in the movie. Like,
I think they're into older women because their mom's kind of hot. So
that's the thing that they're foster mom. I was thinking of too. I was like, it's getting weird. Like, I don't like this. This is making me uncomfortable. But and of course, the foster dad plays Jerry in The Walking Dead. He's been in some other stuff as well. Pretty cool dude. But so Freddy basically this is kind of where things start to pick up. I'm like having a total like ADHD moment here. But so he asked her if she wants to meet Captain Every Power or something like that.
That's what he's calling himself. Yeah.
And she's like, you don't really have to do this. Like, I wasn't really being serious. I kind of just want to hang out with you type of thing. He's like, oh no, I'm serious. And then he goes around the corner, says Shazam, and then he flies out. And then she basically, it's like a beacon to her sisters then, because they know now that, she's talking to one of the Shazams or whatever. And, they take away his power, and now he's back to Freddy again. She realizes that it's Freddy the whole time.
Yeah, in the comics, by the way, Freddy was Captain Marvel Jr.
Wow. Well, at one point, they even yell Captain Marvel at one point, hey, it's Captain Marvel, like, get it? Get it?
Yeah.
Because he used to be called Captain Marvel back in the day before Marvel,
but he calls himself Captain Every Power or whatever. So it's like, and then he refers to Billy as Captain Every Power Jr., which I think is kind of funny. Yeah,
like that's his sort of like way of.
He's also called Shazam Jr. in the comic books too. So.
Shazam Jr. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of blanking on the plot here. Can you help me out? Because I'm kind of like,
I mean, basically, okay. We've got this whole dome thing going on, and then the MacGuffin of the film is this apple that has a seed in it that can grow the tree of life. This golden apple, and so the apple goes from being with the good guys and then getting in the hands of the bad guys and being with the good guys and blah blah blah,
right?
Like in every movie, and It was basically it ends up getting planted right in the middle of the stadium where the Phillies play. Whatever that say. Citizens Bank Park. And then the tree starts growing there, and then it spawns like for some odd reason in these like I don't know like cocoons or something that come out with like these creatures, including like cyclopses and harpies and manticores and minotaurs and then eventually unicorns, which they find out are the ones that they can really that the other monsters are afraid of, but they need ambrosia to be happy to tame them. Yeah. And the closest thing they can think of for the ambrosia is the fact that I realized that this whole movie is just an ad for Skittles.
It is, yeah.
His Skittles, so and they even say taste the rainbow and everything too.
God.
I was like, this is so bad. It's like
with the unicorn, it's like taste the rainbow, get it? I'm like, oh my God.
I was like, okay, I mean, it's, I guess, it took away a little bit, but it didn't, it's not like, I don't know, it's not like really obvious, product placement still. It's not as obvious as some, but like when, like a movies we've watched recently where like everybody's drinking Pepsi or something.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Like it's like pretty much like a Pepsi commercial. Yeah, was that Mac and Me? Yeah.
Oh no, Mac and Me was Coke and
oh, sorry, that was Coke.
That was completely that was completely a completely like an ad for Coke and McDonald's and
McDonald's
and Sears. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It makes me wonder. I'm very curious. I might have to look into this in the future to find out if, like, the Mars Corporation that owns Skittles, like, paid to have their product in the movie, or if it was just, because like I mean, there's the famous story with E.T. where E.T. went to the Mars Corporation to have M&Ms in the movie, and they thought the movie was gonna like flop, and they didn't want to have it in there. And basically, the reason that Reese's Pieces became popular is because it was in the movie E.T. Because they just went to Hershey and said, "Hey, do you have a product we can have in here like this?"
Wow.
So it's like basically like right after E.T. came out, like Reese's Pieces became like one of the most popular candies for the long time in the 80s. So it's like, yeah. So yeah,
I love Reese's Pieces.
So what it makes me think is Mars Corporation said no about having their M&Ms in a movie, almost 40 years ago, and now they're like, hey, we'll agree to anything now.
Yeah, we're not going to make that mistake. Unfortunately, I think Shazam 2 is probably not on par with E.T., but
no, in the future when we talk about the greatest, movies of all time, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is probably not going to be on the same list as E.T.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but it's just, I like the movie, but like, again, like I said last week, is like, I can't get over certain aspects of these movies.
No, I know.
One of them is that I don't understand why the personality of Billy changes from when he's regular Billy to Shazam. Like,
I know.
He has a completely different personality.
It's like, I think
I understand
they tried
actor, but
I think they were trying to make him similar, but it's not really, because like, Zach Levi has the whole Zach Levi thing going on. He's basically Chuck. But with like, but like slightly more immature, so
yeah.
It's like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Zach Levi as an actor. I think he's a good actor and he's funny, but it's like, yeah, you really aren't acting anything like the kid at all, So.
Yeah, the kid is more mature.
Yeah.
Or Billy is more mature than, or maybe they can explain it away by saying, well, maybe he's more confident when he's Shazam, so that he lets that part of himself out.
Yeah,
more,
the sillier,
something like that. Yeah, that could be, a way of getting around it, I guess, if you really want.
I think in this movie they were a little bit more alike, but than they were in the first movie.
They were.
Yeah.
I think that's why, because they realized from the first one, like, oh yeah, like you gotta have a little bit congruity here, and the other thing that kind of upset me a little bit. So, like, if you remember at the end of the first Shazam movie, when Savannah, he's in prison for his crimes and stuff, and at the very end, there's like this, like, I forgot what it was, praying mantis or something, some kind of insect creature, basically says something like, "Oh, did you think that magic only exists in wizards or whatever?" So like, he's like, "Oh, how much fun we're going to have," or whatever. And then like that's the end. So I'm thinking like, "Oh, okay, the sequel Shazam's gonna be like Savannah 2.0, right?"
Yeah.
Nope, no mention whatsoever until the very end of the movie, when that insect comes back again, and he's like, and they try to make a joke like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you for 2 years. Break the fourth wall, you get it, type of thing."
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be like funny. It's like, no, it's not funny, because you built up a whole movie and then you scrapped that idea and just came up with something new entirely. But then you went back
and they created characters. And on top of that, they created characters that aren't even in the comic books.
Right. So it's
the daughters of Atlas are actually, gods or goddesses in the in mythology, but they're not DC characters. So it's like,
yeah, I don't know. And it was just like, okay, if you're gonna scrap that plot entirely, then like just don't even acknowledge it. Just be like, oh, Savannah, maybe Savannah was having an hallucination. Maybe that was what it was. But then to do the whole movie and
it's
then
like, I don't know if they were hoping that they're going to have a third movie and that it's going to come back. They might have been hoping. I don't think they're going to. No, but I doubt it.
I think the Shazam universe is done, unfortunately, at this point.
Yeah, until they reboot it or something. Anyway, it's like basically we do have our happily ever after. They need to, at one point Billy dies, saving the world. They bury him like right away, like right there.
Exactly.
No, like, hey, let's go to a mortuary and get a coffin and stuff for him.
No.
I mean, I understand the family might not have a lot of money, but you could at least get like a pine coffin for him or something,
Or something. I know they literally just bury him in the middle of the.
I guess it's a good thing they didn't like go and pay to get him cremated or something,
Well, true.
But then the staff has no more power, and so nobody else has powers anymore, including the wizard. And so because there's no more gods, but then they realize, oh, there is a goddess still around, a demigoddess or demigod with a Wonder Woman. And yeah, interesting fact though, Gal Gadot was not on set at all for that.
Oh, really?
They filmed all of her part in England.
Oh.
And everybody else is in America. And then they had body doubles, like a Zach Levi body double for like over the shoulder shots, and a Gal Gadot body double for her as well in America. And then they like cut everything together. But if you actually watch the movie, neither of them ever appear directly on screen together. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, shot in 2 different continents. And, the director wasn't even there in England. He did everything over, kind of like Zoom, like directed her over Zoom. Yeah. So it was interesting. But anyway, she gives power to the staff. And then, Billy comes out of or Shazam, I guess, comes out of the grave and everything. And then, he's alive, and then he gets to meet Wonder Woman, who he has a big crush on. And yeah, that's about it on that part. And then we have a mid-credit scene where Amelia Harcourt and John Economist, who we've seen in Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, they come to recruit Billy into the Justice Society on behalf of Amanda Waller. I'm just trying to figure out why Amanda Waller's in charge of everything.
That, and it really doesn't make any sense for Billy and or Shazam to be, because like Peacemaker's like a really adult show and shit. It doesn't make any sense to like bring that character into that kind of community or whatever.
As much as I like both those characters, well,
it doesn't make any sense. It's not the right character. I mean, for that.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
Because originally the mid-credits scene was supposed to feature Hawkman and Cyclone from Black Adam to recruit Shazam into the Justice Society, which is in keeping with the comics, because Shazam was a member of that group. But this changed to the Peacemaker people instead. I guess maybe they couldn't get the other actors or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe because I know that Dwayne Johnson had a bad experience with the whole Black Adam thing, so maybe.
Or I think I did hear something where he was nixing it because those characters were in his movie, and he tried to get them to nix them from appearing in there. But my thing is I'd be pissed if I were those actors. Yeah. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Weird. But I don't know. I do have a theory about how they maybe were, if they were thinking of doing a third movie, how they were going to quote unquote, fix the problem of Billy, like, growing up, like, looking, because I think at the end of the movie, I think he just becomes Shazam. Like, I don't think he's Billy anymore. I think he just looks like, you know what I mean? Like Shazam. I don't think he is a kid anymore, I'm guessing. I don't know. And, because I think when Wonder Woman, when she did that thing, didn't that just kind of like make him, because he came out of because they buried him as Billy, and then he came out the grave as Shazam. So
I don't know. I mean, they never show if he can change back or not, but they did give all the other kids powers and stuff, and they were still kids. So yeah,
okay, it's right, because the wizard shows up near the end. Yeah, okay.
Oh wait, no, they did, because Billy was back to Billy at the end.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, because at the dinner table or whatever, yeah. So
yeah.
Or when they were redoing the house, whatever it was at the end, I don't even remember. I just saw it yesterday and I already forgot. So
I forgot a lot of stuff. Like, we totally forgot, like, the fact that, like, Calypso had a dragon. That's what she was using to kill people with. And, whatever. My mind's like racing to that.
Yeah.
I can't.
And it's basically it's your stereotypical superhero plot, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's a good cast and everything, and I liked it. I mean, but like on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give this like a 5. So you know, it's not bad. It's just not great either. So yeah, I don't know. Any other thoughts on this before we wrap things up?
No, I think I've said everything I need to say.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's worth watching. I mean, obviously you've hopefully watched it if you've gotten this far in our podcast. And,
right.
If not, thank you for listening anyways. I have nothing else to say really. Folks, thank you for listening. If you want to help us out, be sure to go to all2reeltoo.com. Go to our social media, our Facebook, our I don't know what else we have. Facebook. I don't want to advertise the thing owned by the Musk guy. And so there's that. Check out Facebook. YouTube. We got YouTube. Check out YouTube. We do have Hive and TikTok. I don't really use those, but we've got them. And check out our Patreon. Check out our TeePublic. Share the show with your friends. That's the easiest thing you can do. And just remember that I love you and Sesame loves you. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.